President Trump blasts Brennan and his fellow swamp minions by US4Trump.com. President Donald J. Trump was on an absolute roll Thursday, trolling the swamp rats who colluded together trying to take down President Trump before and after the election. The president has found a new and clever way to get around his haters, and that is by quoting guests on Fox News. This saves him the trouble of the mainstream media running their mouths even more and still getting his message directly to the American people. President Trump trolled his haters along with the biased left-wing media because they failed to report the facts. President Trump launches a full-scale attack on Brennan and his fellow swamp minions. Trump tweeted, "The FBI received documents from Bruce Ohr of the Justice Department and whose wife Nellie worked for Fusion GPS, disgraced and fired FBI agent Peter Strzok. This is too crazy to be believed. The rigged witch hunt has zero credibility." While Steele shopped the document to multiple media outlets, he also asked for help with a Russian oligarch. At Catherine Herridge of Fox News, Lou Dobbs, in other words, they were colluding with Russia. Yeah, very concerned about Comey's firing, afraid they will be exposed, said Bruce Ohr. DOJ's emails and notes show Bruce Ohr's connection to the phony and discredited Trump dossier. A creep thinking he would get caught in a dishonest act. Rigged witch hunt. A review by Fox News of Bruce Ohr's Justice Department emails and handwritten notes shows he is deeply connected to the controversial Trump dossier, and during the presidential election, the FISA abuse scandal chief intelligence correspondent Catherine Herridge reports. Watch Catherine Herridge here.
You may or may not know his name. We were among the first to report on him here on Special Report. But tonight, we're learning more about Bruce Ohr, one of the people on the president's list whose security clearances are now under review. As Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge reports, documents show the Justice Department official may be a key figure in the Russia scandal.
As part of this review, I'm evaluating action with respect to the following individuals: James Clapper, James Comey, Michael Hayden, Sally Yates, Susan Rice, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and Bruce Ohr.
Ohr is the only official on the White House list still working in the U.S. government. A review by Fox News of Ohr's Justice Department emails and handwritten notes shows he is deeply connected to the controversial Trump dossier and during the presidential election, the scandal over alleged government surveillance abuse.
It seems like he's a key player.
Ohr's wife Nellie worked for Fusion GPS. The DNC and Clinton campaign paid the firm for the Trump dossier based on research by former British spy Christopher Steele. After the FBI dropped Steele as a source for lying in November 2016, the Republican-led House Intelligence Committee found that Steele maintained contact using Ohr as a back channel.
Bruce Ohr's wife worked for the firm that the Clintons hired to put together the dossier. She's given it to Bruce Ohr, he's given it to the FBI. It is never supposed to work that way in the United States of America.
During closed-door congressional testimony last year, the co-founder of Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson, claimed no contact with Ohr until after the presidential election. But Ohr's work emails conflict with Simpson's testimony, showing contact months earlier. In December 2016, the notes also indicate a meeting in Washington, D.C.'s Chinatown, with Ohr writing, quote, "Glenn gave me a memory stick." During recent congressional testimony, now fired FBI agent Peter Strzok was pressed on Ohr, whose portfolio did not include Russia.
The FBI received documents and material from Mr. Ohr.
The Ohr documents shed more light on Steele's activities before the presidential election. While Steele shot the dossier to multiple media outlets, he also asked Ohr for help with a Russian oligarch, Oleg Deripaska, after rumors the U.S. might impose sanctions. And when FBI Director James Comey was fired by President Trump, Ohr wrote that Steele was, quote, "very concerned about Comey's firing, afraid they will be exposed."
Today, the Justice Department declined to comment. Orr has a chance to tell his side of the story on August 28th when a closed-door interview is scheduled with the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees as part of their joint investigation into the FBI and DOJ's conduct during the presidential election. Brett.
Continue to follow it, Captain. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You may.
Well, the president didn't stop there. Next, he quoted Tucker by tweeting Tucker Carlson, speaking of John Brennan. How did somebody so obviously limited intellectually get to be CIA director in the first place? Now that is a really good question. Then followed by Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut is a fake war hero. So true, a total fake. The president continued, how can Senator Richard Blumenthal, who went around for 20 years as a Connecticut politician bragging that he was a great Marine war hero in Vietnam, then got caught and sobbingly admitted he was neither a Marine nor ever in Vietnam, pass judgment on anyone. Loser. Watch Tucker below. We'll take a quick listen.
To the American people multiple times while working as director of the CIA. He's irresponsible. He's accused his political opponents of treason, a death penalty offense, without offering any evidence at all. But above all, Brennan is vocal. For the past year, he has shouted his views on every possible political topic, as is his right. Well, giving his opinion is literally his job now, actually. He's a cable news pundit. Yesterday, the Trump administration finally revoked his security clearance. Now, why was John Brennan able to keep his top secret clearance after leaving government in the first place? Do other MSNBC contributors have security clearances? If so, what national interest is served by that? And how did somebody so obviously limited intellectually get to be CIA director in the first place? Those are all valid questions. No one on the left even bothered to try to explain any of those things. Instead, they started yelling about how Brennan's rights were being violated.
He knows the Russian collusion angle, and that's what Trump is trying to silence.
Nixonian-type practices of trying to silence anyone who's willing to criticize this president.
The larger implication here is the jeopardy to our First Amendment rights, and by extension, others.
Hear that? The First Amendment. Because you really don't have freedom of speech unless you also have a top secret government security clearance. Brennan, of course, agreed with that. He wrote a piece claiming that Trump revoked his clearance, quote, to try to silence anyone who would dare challenge him. Where was Brennan's essay about being silenced published? Well, in the New York Times, a newspaper with 3 million subscribers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what it looks like to be muzzled. Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, who not only is a fake war hero, but also a graduate of Yale Law School, argued that Brennan somehow has a constitutional right to a security clearance. Notice how Blumenthal keeps a straight face as he says this. Watch.
It is not only an abuse of power, it is illegal. When the founders of our great nation decided on the First Amendment, it was because the King of England would retaliate against his critics. He has the authority to do a lot of things, but not in a way that violates the law.
Thanks for the lesson on the law, Senator. So here's the takeaway. John Brennan has a constitutional right to a federal security clearance, though he does not work for the federal government. You do not have that right. Neither do I, or anyone you know. Only John Brennan has that right because he resides in a special class of elites that you are obligated to obey. And by the way, if you disagree with any of that, you are a monster. You are on the side of bloodthirsty dictators like Stalin and Pol Pot. Watch as more dumb people talk.
What we're seeing today is this is what dictators do. This is a dictatorial exercise of power that should frighten.
It's a clear abuse of power, and it's a mark of an authoritarian dictator.
This is a striking move towards authoritarianism. You know, this is what dictators do. They shut down the press, they shut down dissent, they jail their opponents.
So he's a dictator. Let that settle in for a minute. If Trump is a dictator, he may be the single most incompetent dictator in world history. For example, he lets all these morons go on cable television and accuse him of crimes, but doesn't do anything about it. They keep talking. Somebody better alert the secret police. But wait, the secret police are busy right now. They're watching MSNBC and nodding along in agreement. It's that kind of dictatorship. A looser, more Mediterranean version where no one actually gets repressed. Of course, if you're looking for a more Germanic style of authoritarianism, we have that too in the United States, but it's not in the White House. It's in Silicon Valley, which is happy to prevent you from expressing your views in public if they disagree with those views. That's everywhere these days. And yet, amazingly, somehow, the champions of speech you just watched, First Amendment absolutists like Senator Blumenthal, who learned the value of the Constitution while pretending to serve in Vietnam, haven't noticed. It's odd, isn't it?
Very good thing. They haven't noticed. Yeah. Yeah, you're not allowed to have free speech in this country. You're not allowed. The tech companies tell you, if you don't go along with our narrative, we're not going to allow you to do anything. You go up to a point. After that point, they'll shut you down. Do you see what I'm saying? Up to a point. After that point, you get in too deep on details, you're being shut down. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.